Zolder in Belgium will host the finals of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series over the weekend of the 20th and 21st of October. The fans flock to see some wheel-to-wheel action in the finals in 2017. With double championship points available, there'll be plenty of action on track. Who will follow in the footsteps of 2017 champions Tomo Ferrando and Alan Day, and who will lift the championship trophy? Welcome back to Circuit Zolder for the final race, the very final race of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. A little bit of clearing up just being done after one of the support races. The Elite One competitors heading down towards the bottom of pit lane, and well, we've got a champion to crown in this one. Could it be the number 54 Toyota of reigning champion Alan Day that walks away with the championship? Might it be that white and black car that's third in the row, Fred Gabby, on this iconic circuit, first held Formula One back in 1973, and well, even to this day it is providing some fantastic racing action. What we need to do first of all is look back at some of the action that we've had over the course of this weekend. So let's look at the highlights from yesterday's races. Two great races yesterday in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. A win in Elite 1 for Alan Day, a win for Florian Venturi in Elite 2. We crowned our Elite 2 champion earlier on today, Ulysse Delso, and now we've got an Elite 1 champion to crown. Well, joining me in the commentary box, I'm delighted to say, alongside me, is race winner from just a few hours ago in the Elite 2 division at your home NASCAR Grand Prix. It is Guillaume Dumoy that joins me in the commentary box, so welcome along.
Well, thank you for having me, Mark.
It's my absolute pleasure. You must be a very happy man right now.
Yeah, I am. It was a great weekend. It started on Friday with a great free practice, where I finished first. I had the fastest time. Also, the qualifying was on pole. Unlucky in the race yesterday with a broken gearbox, but managed to have the fastest lap time. So I could start first in my race this morning, and I could bring home the victory, so I'm very happy.
So Belgium driver, Belgium circuit, Belgium team, that's ticked lots of boxes, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be here and in Belgium and to make it to victory lane.
But you haven't got the family with you this weekend, because Emily, your wife, has just recently had a baby. Congratulations on that. Rene will be at home being looked after. He won't know much about this, but Emily will have enjoyed seeing you win.
Yeah, for sure. And I promised her to bring the trophy home and put it in her bedroom. So.
Well, Rene would fit inside, would he?
Yeah.
You have to get some photos. Be careful when you do it, but get some photographs. We saw yesterday your PK Car Sport teammate Stinis Longines leading the race from the car that starts from pole position today, Alan Day. He was trying to secure his first Elite 1 victory in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, having been an Elite 2 champion a few years ago. He just missed out, didn't he?
He did a great job, and he tried from the outside in the first corner. It was a great move. But Alan, he put pressure all the race long. He tried different times to pass Stines. And the pressure was too hard for Stines at some point. And Alan Day did a great race. And he brought back victory, which puts him in a very, very good position for this last race, because he's first in the standings. Huh?
He is, yeah. We've already had one car head towards the pit lane, and that's the number 44 car that's already in the hands of Matthias Hauer, trundled its way down pit lane. So not quite sure what is wrong with the Cal Toyota in the hands of the German driver. So we'll wait and see and bring you updates on that one. Yeah, in terms of the championship standings, and coming into this race, Alan Day, the reigning champion, the Israeli, who sits on pole position in that yellow Toyota, leads the race. He's on 432 points. 14 points behind him is the car that starts directly behind him on the grid. So in third position on the grid is twice a runner-up in this championship, the Frenchman Fred Gabillon. So 14 points separates them. We'll keep you up to date as to how the championship positions work out. But let's guide you through the grid to start with. Number 54 for Cal Racing. It says Chevrolet. It's actually Toyota that lines up on pole position, Alan Day. Alongside is number 11, yesterday's runner-up, teammate to the man that sits to my right-hand side in the commentary box, Stines Longines for PK Car Sport. Row 2 of the grid is Fred Gabillon, currently second in the championship, 14 points adrift of Alan Day, the pole sitter at the wheel of the RDV competition Toyota Camry. Frank Viola, the team manager, is already a happy chap with Ulysse Delso having secured the championship in Elite 2 in that very car that Fred drives. Could Fred maybe make it a double? We'll wait and see. We'll find out in 16 laps' time. Alongside him is number 50, Loris Hazemans, who was right in the championship standings, had problems yesterday. That has sort of moved him out of contention in the overall championship, but he is leading the junior category of it, so he'll be hoping for good things potentially in the Junior Trophy. The Junior Trophy is for drivers aged under 25 at the beginning of the season, attend to the Elite 1 Championship. Third row of the grid, number 33, Luca Lasser, a double former champion. He was also leading the championship coming into this weekend, but he had braking problems yesterday, which has dropped him slightly out of contention. And alongside is number 91, Mark Goossens, another Belgium driver at this Belgium circuit, racing for a Belgium team, who secured a victory in this equivalent race of last year. Row 4 of the grid, number 37, Thomas Ferrando, the Knauf Racing Ford, alongside number 56, the flying Nicola Rocca for Cal Racing. Have a look online. You can see some of the pictures of the airborne antics of Nicola Rocca yesterday through the Kleiner chicane. The fifth row of the grid is number 12, Francesco Sini for Solaris Motorsport, alongside the Swede Alexander Graf for Memphis Racing, number 77. Row 6 is Martin Dubeck and Alex Sedgwick. Row 7 is where we see Willy Busenna and Gianmarco Ercoli. Gianmarco Ercoli is the only champion from Elite 2 to step up to Elite 1 and secure an overall victory. Stines Longines might do something about that in this race, possibly. The instruction is given for the drivers to start their engines. The next row of the grid, former Le Mans winner, huge amounts of experience, number 66, Christophe Bouchou, I think will make progress from there. And alongside him is number 78, another driver maybe to watch out for there, which is Dylan Diadala. The ninth row of the grid for Rizzio Amata and Justin Kuntz. Row 10 is Roman Iniesta and the Finnish driver Henry Tuomala. The 11th row of the grid, number 2, Kenko Miura, alongside number 8, Dario Carzo. Dario Carzo currently leads the Challenger Championship standings, and the Challenger Championship standings is for bronze and for silver graded drivers entered into the Elite 1 Championship, but he actually sits behind one of his championship rivals, Kenko Miura, on the grid. And then we have on the next row of the grid, on row number 12, number 18, Bobby Labonte, and 31, Mauro Trioni. At the back of the grid is number 4, which is Jean-Francois Dumoulin. He's at the back of the grid because he didn't complete a lap at all yesterday, didn't get a lap time in, and therefore starts off the very back. So an intriguing grid. I think there's a few drivers out there that might make progress. Christophe Bouchou, for one, for me, is to watch out. He could make progress, and maybe from 19th position on the grid, number 32 for Go Fast Racing, Roman Iniesta, is also, I would say, a little bit out of position.
Yeah, true. These are really quick drivers, and it will be interesting to see how they move along in the race.
We're looking at the number 11 car there. It's in the hands of Stinis Longines. Well, in the hands of Felipe Rebello, that car had quite a significant accident in Elite 2 yesterday. Felipe was okay. The car, actually, considering it was quite a big impact, stood up beautifully well. And as has been proven by Felipe's performance in the Elite 2 race earlier on, no ill effects with that car. So Stinis has got a good car underneath him.
Well, the guys did a great job of PK Carsport. They worked through the night till 3 o'clock in the morning to get the car fixed, and it works well, yeah.
And for those people watching, yeah, that's what you maybe don't realise, the hard work that goes in. You guys do the hard work behind the wheel, but even longer hours for the team to ready that car for today, and have done a fantastic job. So the car's heading off on their green flag warming up lap. We've got a few questions coming in, sort of Elite 2 and Elite 1, and we've got somebody sort of asking what the question is, so I'm not putting you on the spot, but you're a good man to answer that.
Well, Elite 1 is, and especially in the guys, the front runners are professional or semi-professional drivers, and Elite 2 are the young guns, or the guys like me, 32 years old, and amateur drivers who are more or less quick.
And we ought to say 32 years old, yeah. Had we been talking a couple of days ago, that would have been 31 years old, wouldn't it? Somebody's had a birthday this weekend, haven't they?
Friday was my birthday, yeah. Thank you.
Many happy returns as well. So there are the cars on the green flag warming up lap. And Claude Gallopin, which is Fred's crew chief, was watching the number 54 of Alan Day very, very closely on the grid. So already there'll be conversations going on between driver and spotter, won't they, on this warming up lap?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And there's a lot of tension building up now.
Yeah, you can see the tension on the crowd's face as well as they look down. There's some fantastic vantage points. It has been chilly here at Circuit Zolder, particularly in the morning sessions, but it's now warmed up beautifully. You can see the fantastic sunlight that glints off the cars in some areas, but then also in this wooded section here, you know, the temperature, the track temperatures must vary around the circuit depending on where you are.
Yeah, true. And the first lap of the race is always, you have to be cautious because your tires are not completely at the right temperature. So yeah, it will be interesting to see the first few corners.
They're just heading through the Villeneuve chicane now. So Alan Day leads the championship by 14 points. It's double points for this final race of the season, as it was for yesterday's race and the two races that we had at Hockenheim as well. So it's not 40 points for the win, it's 80 points for the race win. So Fred Gabion, in simple terms, the number 3 RDV competition Toyota Camry, has to finish ahead of Alan Day, and even then, just finishing ahead might not be good enough as well. Fred Gabion, if he wins the race, he's on 498 points. He has to hope that Alan Day finishes 5th or lower, because if he finishes 4th, Alan Day, and Fred Gabion wins, they'd be tied on points. You'd go to the countback, see how many wins had been done. Alan Day would have more wins. On countback, he'd be the champion.
Yeah, here Alan Day has everything to lose. Stinis Longines has nothing to lose. And Fred Gabion has everything to win, so it will be an interesting start.
It'll be a very interesting start. Looking forward to this one. And who knows, you know, bad luck struck championship leader Luca Lasserre coming into yesterday's race. It struck Loris Hazemans. If it were to strike Alan Day and Fred Gabion, all of a sudden we could have 4 drivers back in the championship hunt again. Who knows? We'll find out in 16 laps time. We do have the ability to go green-white checkered should we be at safety car at the point that the 16 laps are elapsed, but that is up to the race director Philippe over on the opposite side of the circuit, directly opposite our commentary position, to decide if we get to that point whether we need a green-white checkered or whether we are going to finish under safety car. Let's hope not, because we've got a champion to crown. We're going to do so hopefully in 16 laps of green flag racing. The all-yellow car is Alan Day. Alongside him is the yellow-fronted but the black tail-ended car of Stinis Longines. These two had a great fight yesterday. They were both hugely happy with it. Stinis Longines lost the race, but had a big smile on his face. They enjoyed racing each other to the very edge. OK, buckle up. We're about to go green for the final time this year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Great start from Alan Day, who gets the jump on Stinis Longines, who is going to try and close the door on Fred Gabion, but Fred Gabion is up the inside of Stinis Longines, is he? No, not quite. They head up towards Erst, which is turn number 1, and it is Alan Day that leads. Stinis Longines in 2nd place. Loris Hazemans is through into 3rd by the look of things, and it looks as though Fred Gabion is down into 4th and under attack from the double former champion Luca Lasserre, his fellow countryman. But they are all safely through turn number 1 and then stretch their legs up towards Bianchi-Bocht, which is turn number 4 here at Circuit Zolder. Safely through Alan Day. That was a great start from Alan Day, Guillaume, and already he's looking to try and see what he can do. He knows he's almost got Stinis Longines acting as a buffer, isn't he, between himself and the rest of his championship rivals.
Yeah, Stinis will take important points if he stays in the 2nd position. So yeah, if it remains like that, it's not a good thing for Fred.
Stinis Longines is 81 points adrift of the championship battle. It looks as though already you can see the amount of daylight between himself, Alain Day, and Stinis Longines. There is Loris Hazemans, who sits there in third place. Fred Gabion's in fourth. The light blue car is Luca Lasserre, who's there in fifth position. But Alain Day, this is perfect for him, getting the break nice and early on. He had the pace yesterday to take the lead of the race away from Stinis Longines. What can he do now? He's out front. Oh, problems for Mauro Trione, who was lying third in the Challenger Trophy and was just 5 points adrift of the car ahead of him, which was Kenko Miura coming into this one. But for the driver Mauro Trione, the Italian driver who's based in Switzerland nowadays, returning to racing after 23 years away, it looks as though it's all rather come undone from him. Alain Day is going to lead over the start-finish line. And, well, for Mauro Trione, he's now going to be very much reliant on a yellow flag and a full course caution. Alain Day leads on completion of the first lap of the race. Stinis Longines in second place, the black car, but with the Dutch stripes down the centre of it. Loris Hazemans is there in third. Fred Gabion, Luca Lasserre, Mark Goossens, dust being raised there at the exit of turn number one, which is Ursch, which is a very, very quick corner, is it not, Guillaume?
Yeah, the first left-hander is a very quick corner, and if you have too many understeer, in the second part of the corner, you can end up in the gravel bed.
And it sort of overworks the tyres as well, doesn't it? Which are now maybe just sort of feeling the effects of what has been a difficult weekend for most. Lots of heavy braking areas as well. You need to be careful not to snatch a brake. There's no ABS on these cars. There's no traction control. 5.7 litre V8, 400 brake horsepower. They're not the lightest cars either, because they weigh in at 1,200 kilograms. That's almost 2,700 pounds. Alain Day still continuing to lead the race at this stage, and that's all he needs to do at the moment. And whilst his main championship rivals, the number 50 car Loris Hazemans, the number 3 car Fred Gabion, the number 33 car Lucas Lasserre, they're the cars that are in the top 4 in the championship behind Alain Day. They're all behind him in the race currently, so looking good here in the early stages as we continue to go green. They're on lap number 2. What of the cars further back that I said would make progress? Well, you remember me saying that Roman Iniesta might make progress from 19th. Guess what? One lap in, he's up to 11th position.
Yeah, and also Koen Wouters, the Belgian singer, who was last on the grid, and he already is in 18th position right now.
Yeah, Koen Wouters had awful problems yesterday, only completed one lap, so he had to count that lap time from yesterday. But yeah, Koen Wouters, who is a bit of a star over here in Belgium, but also hugely experienced as well. He was third in the Porsche GT3 Cup Benelux Championship back some years ago. We've seen him runner-up in the Belgium Touring Car Championship in his particular class. He was also runner-up in the Belgium GT Championship some years ago. So huge amounts of experience, despite the fact that he's busy with his presenting career and his singing career.
And also you have to take into account that this NASCAR is a very different car from all the other GT cars. And it takes some time to adapt to this kind of car.
Let's have a quick look in towards the braking area for what looks like the cleaner chicane. There goes Alain Day, not using the curbs, I notice, at this stage. The gap between himself and Stinis Longines has just come down a little bit, so maybe Alain Day conscious again, as befell some people yesterday. Using the curbs too much can give you mechanical issues with a circuit that's actually quite hard on the car anyway.
Yeah, this particularly chicane has very high curbs, and if you jump too high over them, it can put damage on the car.
Damage the car, the suspension, the drivetrain, it loads up the sidewalls of the tyres, all of those sorts of things. So Alain Day, I think, just conscious that stay within the centre of the circuit, don't overly use the curves, and at the moment, yes, if that means he has to give a bit of time away, he's not going to be knocking cones out of the way like we see down there at the Villeneuve chicane. We need Cone Guy again, don't we, from Tour to head back out there and pick up the cones. Guillaume's laughing, he remembers Cone Guy from Tour. I think we all do. He was a bit of a star.
I was not racing in Tour, but I was there to watch the race, and I saw Cone Guy. He's a great guy.
Yeah, Cone Guy, where are you? There's an invite to Zolder if it's on the calendar for next year when the calendar's announced. Over the start-finish line they come. Alain Day, 3 laps in the book now. Fastest lap of the race that time through went to Mark Goossens. Right, there goes Cone Guy. They weigh nearly 40 kilos, those cones, or Cone Guys, plural, we ought to say. Next time the cars come round, the broken cone will be replaced, and all of a sudden they'll realise they can't cut the chicane again. I was about to say, fastest lap of the race. I said Mark Goossens, 1 minute 40.852 for Mark Goossens. He knows this circuit well, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a very experienced driver. He's along here around the track for 30 years, something.
Yeah, the Goose, as he's known. His car is the Brax racing machine, the blue car with the day-glow yellow stripes down the centre of it. Alain Day still leading the race. The gap between himself and Stinis Longines came down by almost another 0.2 of a second last time through, so it's about half a second first to second place. But as far as Alan Day is concerned, doing the maths, that's enough for him. Doesn't matter what the gap is, as long as he is ahead of all of his championship rivals, and he'll always be doing that whilst he's in the lead of the race. That is good enough at this stage. Loris Hazemans is third, so he sits fourth in the championship standings coming into this one. So if Loris Hazemans finishes in third place, he'd be on 440 points. Fred Gabion is currently in fourth position. That would put him on 484 points. Luca Lasser is in fifth position. That would put Lucas Lasser 446 points. So I think actually the top four, if they stay where they are, would still be the top four in the same order at the end of the championship season. They're about to get to the end of the fourth lap. It looks as though the top, what's that going to be? The top 7 cars have broken away now, really. Alan Day, Stinis Longines, Loris Hazemans, Luca Lasser, Mark Goossens, and at the back end of the train is Nicola Rocca.
Well, Stinis Longines put the fastest lap right now. It's a great lap of 140.5. He's really looking to close the gap with Alan and put him under pressure because he really wants to win here.
Well, Stinis Longines went round the outside of turn 1 of Alan Day to take the lead of the race when the lights went out yesterday on the first lap. Alan Day returned the favour in exactly the same position later on in the race. Do you think Stinis Longines is going to be brave enough to try and do it again, or do you think Alan Day might be wise to that move now?
I think Alan Day will be wise. He will he will look after his championship. The victory would be nice and sweet, but the championship is what counts for him.
Yeah, absolutely. For all of them, it's the championship that they want. Winning races is great, but bad luck is not what you need in this championship. You've got to stay consistent. In the earlier rounds of it, so the first 8 rounds of the championship, you can drop your worst score, but on the basis of the double points for Hockenheimring for the 2 races there, round 9 and 10, and round 11 and 12 here, with it being double points, then yeah, you've absolutely got to stay consistent, and sticking your nose up the inside of a car to try and gain a place could work. It could end up absolutely wrecking your championship aspirations. Alan Day just starting now, I think, to get away again a little bit more over the PK Carsport Chevrolet of Stinis Longines on this lap. So maybe responding to the fact that he saw the car closing in his mirrors, he's pushed again on this lap, the championship leader, to increase the margin.
Yeah, if you have that margin in your car, then he's playing a fantastic game, huh?
That's absolutely it is. It's almost like a game of poker, isn't it? You don't show your hand too early. You try and work out your competitor, where you have the advantage over them, and then maybe try and squeeze your way through. We gather there's a drive-through penalty for the number 7 car. That is the Belgium Driver Academy Chevrolet of Martin Dubec for collision with the number 31 car. That's Mauro Trione. You remember we saw that car pointing in the wrong direction for the driver that's third in the Challenger standings coming into this race. So Alan Day still leads. 5 laps now completed, all under green flag conditions so far. Toyota leads, Chevrolet second, Ford third for Loris Hazemans. He also leads the Junior Trophy as well. Further down through the order, the Challenger Trophy is being led by the number 41, the Club Motorsports Ford Mustang of Fabrizio Amata, from number 2, Kenko Miura. So there's some maths to do when it comes to the Challenger Trophy standings before too much longer to work out as to whether that's sufficient to put Kenko Miura ahead of Dario Carzo in terms of the championship standings. I think it will be, because they were separated by just 1 single point coming into this one. So the Japanese driver Kenko Miura could, if he hangs on to it, be heading towards Challenger Trophy championship victory this year. Gap is closing up. Right, OK, problems and bits of bodywork flying off. That's your car there, isn't it? The number 24 car that has got bits of bodywork flying off. Koen Wolters, who has dropped back down through the order.
Yeah, he's losing positions again, but yeah, it's a hard race. It's a real race here. The slightest mistake you make, you lose positions.
Well, it's pure racing, isn't it? That's the thing, isn't it? Nicola Rocca has passed Mark Goossens, so that is a change on this lap for 6th position. So the number 56 Cal Racing Toyota now ahead of the Brax Chevrolet in the hands of Mark Goossens, and Bobby Labonte's got the tail end of the car missing by the look of it. Great to see the 2000 Monster Energy NASCAR champion with us for the full season. Fingers crossed. We just don't know. We honestly don't know whether we'll see Bobby back next year. I hope so. He's been an absolute star, and on the basis of this year, every circuit has been new to him, other than Brands that he raced at last year. And is now no longer in 12th place. Fabrizio Amata works his way through and ahead of Romain Iniesta. Right, down the straight comes Alan Day.
Now we see that the gap is increasing, 1.1 second.
Yeah, it came out by 0.4 of a second on that lap alone, so into his rhythm again a little bit more now. He will respond. The Villeneuve chicane, you can't just plank your foot on the throttle. You've still got to blend the throttle in, haven't you, into towards the next right-hander.
Yeah, you have to be very easy with the throttle there, and also that right-hander there in the bush is a very dangerous one. It's because it's almost full throttle, but the walls are very close there.
Yeah, they do. They really close in. And now, is there a problem for Mark Goossens, because he's just lost a further place there to the Knauf number 37 car of Tomo Ferrando? So I do fear the winner from this equivalent race last year, Mark Goossens, might have some sort of problem. Is he going to head towards pit lane? We'll wait and see in a few moments' time. Through and over the start-finish line, Alan Day still perhaps evaporate. Fourth position for him would still be good enough as things stand for runner-up spot in the championship, but that is not what Fred wants. He's already been a runner-up twice. He wants to be a champion.
Yeah, it's he's been runner-up for 2 times, and he desperately wanted to win this championship. But yeah, he made some mistakes in Hockenheim, the last race, which at the end will cost him the championship.
Yeah, it was a real mixed weekend for Fred Gabillon at Hockenheim. He didn't finish in the top 6 in either race. Actually, in the first race, he had a puncture, went a lap down, got the free pass, and actually ended up working his way right back in towards the top 10. So a difficult weekend. It could have been far worse for Fred Gabillon. And Mauro Trioni is going to look to try and stay out of the way of the rest of the traffic that's trying to lap him. The next of the car that's queuing up behind is Nicola Rocca at the wheel of the number 56 car. That's the car that was airborne through the cleaner chicane yesterday, which, as say, log on to social media, have a look at that one, and you'll see just how airborne the car was. All 4 wheels, but in particular the back end of the car must have been a good 3 or 4 feet in the air. We are now on the half-distance lap as well, so this is lap number 8. And it looks as though at the end of this lap, yeah, there's another 8 laps to go for Alan Day. What did you spot there?
Oh, there was almost a collision in the 90 degrees that Mauro Trioni was not really giving enough space to the 56 car.
Of Nicola Rocca, yeah, and Tomo Ferrando was queuing up behind as well, wasn't he? So they've all now safely negotiated that light blue car with the orange stripe down the centre of it. Mauro Trioni, who is off the lead lap. Christophe Bouchou at the wheel of the Deck Sweat car is the next of those who's going to squeeze his way through. He just gets up the inside there, but ahead of them is this great fight that's going on, and that is going to be for 6th and 7th position. Ferrando runs a little bit wide, though, heading out of Ust, and that's the sort of problem that you were talking about, wasn't it, earlier on?
That's the second half of the corner. If you have too many understeer there and you go too early on the throttle, then you're in the gravel bed immediately.
Into the pit lane has come Mark Goossens. We did think there might be a problem with the number 91 Brax car, and he brings it into pit lane. You won't see it on your TV screens, and there is one of the Cal Racing cars, and that has spun, and when the dust clears, that looks as though it is Matthias Hauer that's had the spin. So the number 44 car's had the spin. That's at the Villeneuve chicane, where he's sort of facing the wrong way and trying to restart the engine whilst it sort of sits on the curbs. And we can also see, yeah, confirmation that Mark Goossens has indeed brought the number 91 car into the pits. That's an enormous shame for the race winner of this equivalent meeting last year.
Yeah, it is, and also for his home crowd here, it's a shame. He didn't really had a good weekend, let's say. He never really got to the front, so yeah.
Halfway to go, it looks as though out of the car clambers Mark Goossens, and let's hope that Matthias Hauer's car, which still sits stationary, facing the wrong direction in the middle of the Villeneuve chicane, can get out of harm's way. Otherwise we might be forced to go full course caution. The gap first to second has certainly come down now. It certainly looks as though Alan Day has been reeled in by Stinis Longines, and Stinis Longines, who is now very much in touch with the race leader. There's less than 0.4 of a second between the pair of them. That's less than a car length. Matthias Hauer thankfully gets going again, so that averts us going full course caution. So it means, Guillaume, the race is most certainly on again for the lead.
Yeah, Stinis is pushing as hell. You know, how many legs? We have 7 laps to go.
Yeah,
I think his spotter just told him, you know, do everything what you can. You have nothing to lose. Go and get Alan.
Yeah, push, push, push. It's the end of the season. We, in the nicest way, don't need to worry about the car. Drive the wheels off the car as hard as you can. We got the winter to rebuild it and break it all down and build it all back up again. And you can see that Loris Hazemans is also going with him as well. So we've nearly got 3 for the lead. Now, all of a sudden, They're bouncing off the curbs a little bit more. They know that there's a championship up for grabs. There's a final victory of the season up for grabs as well.
Yeah, it's an important one for Stinnes. He wants his first victory in Elite 1.
And as you well know, once you get that first victory, as you proved earlier on, the second one is that little bit easier.
Yeah, the first one feels special, enormously special.
Franciacorta for you.
Yeah. Great feeling. And that is just the step you need for more victories.
It's get the monkey off your back, and a bit like buses, you wait for one, and all of a sudden the second one comes along at the same time. So the fight is on for the lead of the race. It looks as though Fred Gabion is still struggling along really in fourth position, not really making inroads to the batch of cars ahead. They all look actually fairly evenly spaced. To be fair to Fred Gabion, actually the top four do look fairly evenly spaced. Alan Day very much on the limit at the Villeneuve chicane. Longines and Hazemans are still there as well, so he's got to keep pressing on at this stage. There's more traffic up the road as well that they may well need to deal with as well over the course of the next few laps. Here comes once more Nicola Rocca. He may well have been using the curves a little bit because the front splitter's damaged Guillaume.
Yeah. Well, it's pure racing, like we said. And then Ferrando going at... Yeah. Oh.
He's having a look.
Yeah. Nice move.
Well done, Tomo Ferrando. A big cheer goes up, actually, outside our commentary box for Tomo Ferrando as he squeezes his way through. That puts the former Elite 2 champion, the reigning and outgoing Elite 2 champion, I suppose, we ought to say, now up inside the top 6. And now that he is past Nicola Rocca, what could he do from there? Because, in fact, there is Tomo Ferrando, there is Christophe Bouchou, and Nicola Rocca has gone missing. There's a yellow flag at turn number 3. There's no Nicola Rocca. There's yellow and red flags down at the Villeneuve chicane, suggesting that there's probably debris on the circuit down there. But I do fear turn 3 and yellow flags and a missing Nicola Rocca. Read into that as you will, as another car heads to the pit lane, and a disappointed final race of his 2018 NASCAR career. Yeah, Bobby Labonte's in. Yeah, we get a great view of the pit lane entry from our commentary box, and well done to the TV director again. Yeah, straight into the garage for Bobby Labonte. That is such a shame that sort of brings the curtain down on his debut season in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. But watch out on social media in the coming weeks. We are going to look back, ask Bobby Labonte to look back on his experience of the 2018 season. So follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, and you can pick up on Bobby's thoughts on the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series season. So this is now 12 laps completed for very shortly our race leader. He's on lap number 11 currently, and well, for Alan Day, he hasn't really stemmed the tide again too much. The gap has come down over the last few laps. The lap that had just completed, it's gone out from half a second to 3/4 of a second almost.
He's playing a very good strategic game here. He's controlling well. He's saving his tires, and if it's necessary, he's speeding up again. But it's no good for Fred Gabion.
Yeah, so 5 laps to go, including the one that they are on. As you say, it's no good at all for Fred Gabion. 4th place is not going to cut the mustard. That's going to put him on 484 points. Alan Day leading. He'd become the champion on 512. Loris Hazemans would finish the season on 440, and Luca Lasser, who sits there in what is 5th position now, would finish the season on 446, if my maths are correct. But we'll do all of that at the end of the race, because you can see just how close Fred Gabion is to Loris Hazemans, the number 50 car, the Hendricks Motorsport Ford, under pressure from the Frenchman as they head up towards the braking area for Boulderbocht once more, and then round through Jochen Rindt and the short straight that brings them back in towards the left and the right flicks of the Jackie X chicane on this 2.5 mile or 4 kilometre circuit. So up towards the braking area.
Have some more traffic coming up.
They do, yeah, and they've got no choice. They've got to work their way through it quickly, haven't they? That's the key to it. When you meet the traffic, you hope it stays out of the way, which it is doing for Alan Day. So no harm done there. That's the number 10 car, I think, that's moved out of the way, which is going to be William Ayer. Who has
we have a black flag, Mark.
Do we? Who do we have the black flag for? Number 7. That will be Martin Dubeck. So now you recall there was...
What has he done wrong?
There was an investigation between number 7 and number 31. Now
that is cone guy.
That's Belgian cone guy, not French cone guy. There's a difference. He didn't serve the drive-through, I think, was the problem. given a drive through, didn't serve it, it becomes a black flag. Look at the fight now for the lead of the race. 4 absolutely together. It is still Alan Day that leads up towards the cleaner chicane. Right behind him, number 11, the PK car sport machine of Stinis Longines, still trying to hunt down his first victory in the Elite 1 division. They're on lap number 13 of what is scheduled to be 60. Loris Hazemans, Fred Gabion, there's still a champion, of course, to crown. If things stay the way they are, it's going to be... Oh,
Stinis is going through the gravel bed there.
Yeah, lock the brakes. Needs to be careful that he doesn't gain advantage with that. The next couple of corners, though, he's got to clean those tyres up, hasn't he? Yeah. You could see he sort of snatched the brake, and once you've snatched the brake, he tried to get back off it again, but every time you come off it, the car's then not slowing down, isn't it? And I think he's done the sensible thing and ensure that he doesn't gain advantage. There's a big bite out of Francisco Cini's car there.
And a big bite out of the 24 car as well.
It didn't look like that when you handed it over, did it?
No, not really.
That is the number 24 car in this race is Koen Wouters. Into the pit lane comes Matthias Hauer. He's had a pretty intriguing race, whilst his teammate for Cal Racing, Alan Day, still continues to lead the race. 13 laps now completed, but still no let-up in the pressure from Stinis Longines, from Loris Hazemans, and from Fred Gabion as well. And it looks as though Stinis Longines now, the front splitter's missing off the car. Does that affect the car too much?
Not really too much. It's most important in the faster corners to get the nose, some pressure on the nose to avoid understeer. That's caused by the gravel bed.
Yeah, he's not the only member of that club, is he, missing the front splitters. I've just seen Christophe Bouchou go through and Roman Iniesta go through over the start-finish line, all missing the front splitters as well. So, yeah, all of a sudden, there were 4 altogether for the lead of the race. It looks as though Alan Day has just stretched the margin once more. The gap first to second at the start of the lap was just over a second, and I think it's come out even further now, and you can see that Stinis Longines is becoming a little more distant now. 3 fighting over second, third and fourth.
Yeah, it's causing some problems with the concentration also. When you go through a gravel bed, you have to reset your mind to make sure you stay concentrated again. And yeah, I think he lost some concentration. Let's hope he gets back to it.
As you know, and as I know with my limited experience, big problem. There's a lock-up for Stinis Longines, and it looks as though sneaking his way through is going to be Loris Hazemans. That picks up more championship points for Loris Hazemans and could have an impact. Can Fred Gabion squeeze his way through as well, or did Stinis Longines just about recover from the mistake? He did. That was good driving from Stinis Longines, because he locked the brakes heading in towards the braking area for Boulderberg. And it looks as though, despite the mistake, he got away with it. But that now means what was a 0.9 second gap is up to 2.7 first to second.
Yeah.
Stinis Longines really got away with that one. And for the moment, it still means that all things are equal. It looks as though Alan Day is heading towards the championship. Fred Gabion is potentially heading towards being the runner-up 3 times in the championship. Loris Hazemans would be 3rd and Luca Lasserre would be 4th, subject to official confirmation and assuming they all stay in the same position that they currently are. Alan Day safely out of Bianchi Bocht and heading down the straight, which is at the back of the paddock area here.
And we see that Loris is placing a tag there.
He is, but he's on the wrong line, isn't he? Coming in towards cleaner chicane. He's going to have to see what he could do, use the curve, try and get a bit more momentum on the way out up towards Sacrament-Schelling, which is the crest of the hill there. That brings you past the little church on the right-hand side. But Stinis Longines just positioning the car, and it's a circuit again.
Small lock-up again. Huh?
Again, yeah, it's the unloaded wheel, isn't it? A bit more debris flies off the car. Stinis Longines, if he holds his line correctly, grabs the apex and gets neatly off the corners, should be okay. But Hazemans has the quicker car at this stage.
Yeah, and we see Hazemans getting next to Stinis there for the braking on the 90 degrees.
Here they come, up towards the braking area. He's got the inside line, Loris Hazemans, and he's through. Stinis Longines allows him to go through. Can Stinis cut back on the exit? He needs to make sure he closes the door on Fred Gabion as well to prevent Fred Gabion squeezing his way through, and all of this is just helping Alan Day run away with the lead of the race and potentially the championship. Stinis Longines,
he recovered.
Somehow has done it again. He must have cut back on the exit.
I think Loris had a bad exit because of the attack, and Stinis could go quicker on the throttle. That made a better exit than he could recover. Yeah,
so of course he was on the tighter line as well, was he not, Loris Hazemans, and therefore it is now just one more lap to go to sort out who is going to be the champion of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Championship. Again, Stinis Longin looking as though this stage of the race,
he has a hard time there.
It doesn't look a nice car to drive now, doesn't it? All of a sudden, yeah, the sort of fight out of his belly is still there, but the car's just not with him, is it? And Alan Day...
And also mentally, you know, you're not looking to the front anymore because Alan Day is gone. You only look at the back, and if you look at the back, it's no good.
And you can see now that also Luca Lasser in the background is beginning to catch up on this little trio through the cleaner chicane for the final time. Hazeman's absolutely bounces over the curbs and needs to be careful. He retired yesterday with drivetrain problems with that car, and bouncing it over the curbs is not going to help. He probably is a little bit closer now to Stinis Longin than otherwise he would have been. The lock break again from them as they head through the Villeneuve chicane for the final time. Can he sneak his way on the inside? He's got it.
Racing. An attack again from Loris, and I think he got past Stinis now.
He's got it done now. It is great racing. It's pure racing, isn't it? There's no BOP, or there's no ABS, there's no traction control. You just grab the car by the scruff of the neck and crack on. And Luca Lasser now, with all of that squabbling, is right there as well. Alan Day is going to win the race. He's going to be the champion for this year because he's heading up towards the final corner, and it looks as though it is going to be back-to-back championships for Alan Day. Luca Lasser did it in 2009 and 2010, and it looks as though it is going to be back-to-back championships in 2017 and 2018 for Alan Day. He comes through to claim the win. It is going to be Loris Hazemans in second position, Stinis Longin in third place, Fred Gabion in fourth, and Luca Lasser finishes in fifth ahead of Thomas Ferrando in sixth position. So fantastic racing from all of those. Christophe Bouchou was the other driver I said would make progress from the grid, didn't he? He's just come through in seventh position as Christophe Bouchou, having started down in 15th.
And the Belgian, Dylan Derdale, first time in NASCAR, did a great job, 8th position.
Well, Jerry De Vert was saying yesterday we've got a quick driver in this car this weekend, and yeah, to finish 8th in his first weekend of racing in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, hats off to Dylan Derdale, who finishes in 8th place, Wilfred Brusenna in 9th, and Fabrizio Amata finishes in 10th position. For the Challenger Trophy, Kenko Miura has finished in 15th position, Kenko Miura, and that means that he would then end up on the season on 329 points. Dario Carzo was just 3 seconds behind him in the end.
And let's watch Alan Day now. He will put up a show, for sure.
Well, he was told, Alan Day was told, I'm not going to say by whom, but if he were to win, to park up at the end of turn number 1 and maybe do a few more donuts than you did. You just did the one and behaved yourself.
Yeah, I had the instructions from my team chef that I could only do one.
Well, Alan Day...
Well, he doesn't care anymore. He can break the clutch.
Might add a few more to the title as well. Yeah, Kenko Miura, 329 points. He's going to be the Challenger Trophy winner for this year. Loris Hazemans is going to be the Junior Trophy winner, and Alan Day is the overall champion. Kuhn Walter's car, looking slightly battered. You handed it over to him immaculately. The same can't be said when he hands it back to the team.
Yeah. Well, he enjoyed the race, I think.
We'll just wait for Alan Day, who's waiting patiently for all of the cars to go by.
Now he goes off.
Here we go, right. Alan Day is going to celebrate. We saw him doing this last year down there at turn number 1, and yeah, he'll forget about the clutch, as you said. He'll enjoy the moment. You can see hand aloft as well. There is a double NASCAR champion for you. And, well, for Alan Day, it is going to be a very, very happy scene when he gets back down into victory lane. Somewhere in there, once the smoke has cleared, is the champion for this year, and he's going to do exactly what he did last year as well.
With the Israeli flag, no?
He was on the top of the car, wasn't he, down at 2-1?
He's going to put it in front of the wall. Yeah. Like in America.
That's what he's going to do, is it? Alan Day is nice. Enjoying the moment. Those BF Goodrich tyres, though, might not be, because he is giving everything to the crowd here, are hugely appreciating the moment. And there is your champion for this year. Alan Day is a double NASCAR champion, straight over to the Cal Racing team. And, well, this is what it's all about, isn't it? Crowning champions at the end of the year. There will be disappointed drivers, but you've got to be happy that we've got another champion.
Yeah, he's an example for NASCAR racing. He's a very talented young driver, Alan Day. A very disciplined driver. He had some bad luck this year, but yeah, we have to congratulate him for this championship. And he's enjoying himself.
And rightly so, yeah. Milking every moment of it is Alan Day. And, well, he's got the time to do so, but I think we've also got some more support races coming up as well. So don't milk it too much, Alan. We've got plenty of other action to try and squeeze in as well, because we've got the 3 more support races to get done and dusted. So the officials will be keen for him to get the number 54 car out of harm's way. Stinis Longjing did finish on the podium, your PK Car Sport teammate. Do you need to go and celebrate with the team on the podium?
Yeah, I'll go off right away, but he did a great job. It was a difficult race for him, especially after he went through the gravel bed, but yeah, it was great racing.
Thank you for joining us in the commentary box. Congratulations on the win earlier on, and we wish yourself, Emily and Rene all of the best.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So there we go, Guillaume Dumoulin, who is an absolute star here in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series Elite 2 division, having won the race earlier on. Alan Day repeats the feat and claims victory in the Elite 1 race. Let's guide you through the full results for it before we now concentrate on the victory celebrations. Hopefully a quick interview with Alan Day as well, and of course support races to come as well, so the TV cameras will shortly have to concentrate on those. But Alan Day is our race winner, and hopefully we can just guide you through the graphics of at least the top 10 we might be able to get through. Alan Day claims the win. The number 54 Cal Racing machine, I think, led every single lap of that 16-lap race. Second is number 50, which is Loris Hazemans, and third was the number 11 car of Stinis Longjing. I'm hoping we can get a graphic up that just shows that as Alan Day heads in towards the pit lane area. He might be the last to arrive in pit lane, but he's going to be the happiest to arrive in pit lane. And hopefully Andre, I could just see Andre there, directing Alan Day into the spot that is reserved, quite rightly so, for the winner. And hopefully once he's out of the car, we'll see some more celebrations, and then we can grab a very quick word with what is going to be a very, very, very happy driver. For Alan Day, it's his second championship. He was runner-up in 2015. He finished third in the championship in 2016. He secured the title last year, and he has secured it again here. A hugely likeable 26-year-old Israeli driver, and that Cal Racing Toyota Camry has been the car to beat this weekend. And you could argue it's been the car to beat in the 2018 championship season. The Israeli flag proudly held high by Alan Day, and even though the visor is on, you can feel the emotion that's going on inside that crash helmet. He knows what it means for him. He's already sampled NASCAR racing on the other side of the Atlantic. He will be heading over to the championship celebrations with all the rest of the NASCAR series that exist around the world to enjoy his moments over there as well. And yeah, I think finally from elation probably to relief, then back to elation, and then a whole host of emotions that will be going through him at the moment. The crown goes on the head. I think I know where that has come from. There's a certain fast food outlet that has very similar crowns, but Alan Day will proudly wear the crown because he has now, subject to official confirmation, been crowned the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion. And I think it's going to be yet again, subject to the math, another runners-up spot for Fred Gabion. We will hopefully grab a quick word with our race winner. Do make sure that you look on Twitter and on Facebook as well, and you may well see them later on Instagram. It might be quite late into the night before we get them done, because we've got a lot of interviews to do. We've still got to post them from the Elite 2 race earlier on as well. Reactions from our drivers, but we will get the reactions of the winners of each of the classes from these races and the winners of the championships for each one of those classes. And we'll also get the likes of Bobby Labonte, amongst others, and I'm not going to tell you who, to have a look back at their season as well. So over the coming months and the coming weeks, you'll see more and more content, just brief interviews heading out onto social media to gauge the thoughts of this great family that we have this side of the Atlantic in NASCAR. And we thank NASCAR and Whelen and Moog for their support. Moog, who supply a lot of the chassis and suspension components, have learnt a lot through their involvement with the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, and now put that into practice with the aftermarket road parts that they supply as well. So Alan Day finally takes off the balaclava and is going to grab a well-earned drink once the congratulations have all been done and dusted. On goes the hat. I would imagine a drink of water as well somewhere. The shades, absolutely Alan Day. That's one thing. Alan Day, it wouldn't be an Alan Day without shades, would it? And then Andre will be ready, poised with the microphone to grab a quick word with one very, very happy winner and our champion for 2018.
Okay. We'll do it. Yes. We'll do it. Hopefully. Alan Day, champion of the Elite One 2018. How do you feel winning your second consecutive championship?
I don't know. I feel amazing. Never failed. Never disappoint me. The car, the team, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I'm speechless. I came from such a difficult time during the season, and we still managed to win so many races and keep bounce back to the lead and clinch the championship, and yeah, back to back. Amazing, just amazing.
Right. Congratulations and celebrate your championship.
So great reaction from our champion Alan Day, and we'll wait and see as to where his NASCAR career brings him from here. He has been a hugely successful driver this season for Alan Day. That's a double win, of course, this weekend at Circuit Zolder. Add that to the 2 wins he took at Valencia. He took a win at Franciacorta, one at Tour and one at Hockenheim. He's been the most successful driver in terms of wins this year, which you could argue, regardless of bad luck for other drivers along the way, he's won more races than anybody, and that in itself almost crowns a champion, doesn't it? What a great way to end our 2018 championship season. The next support race is not that far away, so I am guessing that our TV director is very shortly going to want to cut the pictures towards that, but the final scenes of celebration in the pit lane will be appearing on your television screens in terms of highlights shortly as well, so do keep an eye towards that. So don't leave NASCAR today as well, because don't forget the Monster Energy is up this evening in Kansas as well, and we're all stand shoulder to shoulder as part of this amazing global NASCAR family now as well. So thank you for joining us at Circuit Zolder. We have crowned our champions in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series for 2018. Thanks to Whelen, thanks to Moog, thanks to all of our supporters globally and the corporate partners that we have. Thanks to our drivers for supplying some cracking entertainment. And well, for myself, Mark Werrell, that's it for 2018. We'll see you in 2019.